Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I think they've got that on playback instead of recording.
Bobby?
Present.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here. Here.
Here. If you notice in your package, I don't know why Kevin didn't get one. It has to be the mail because I sent them out. There is no summary by me. Mark, I want to appreciate you taking over last time. I didn't feel comfortable writing up what might have happened as far as the summary goes, so I included last month's agenda so you would be reminded what you did do. If that pleases everybody, because we won't have to take any kind of vote on that. Okay. Any committee reports? None. Okay, now number 6 is going to be the approval of the library budget amendment. And Rita, you want to run us through this?
Before I do that, though, I want to invite everyone here, the commissioners and everyone else, to the open house, grand reopening on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Please come and join us and come see the beautiful remodeling and renovations that have been done at the library. What I'm asking for here is kind of a formality just to move it into the budget so I can spend it. It's $6,760.51. Where this money came from was back in fiscal year 2010, fiscal year 2011, 10-11. We, prior to that, had 2 checking accounts for the library, one special, one general. Our money did not go through the general fund, and I did not bring bills over to the courthouse at that time to have them paid. We paid them through these checking accounts. The federal GASB rulings then said that county libraries needed to begin to move their money through the rest of the county's accounting systems. So that's what we did. But these 2 checking accounts did exist, which we closed out by writing checks to the county trustee in the amount of $97,1767. So for the 2 accounts. That money then was, some of it was spent during the budget year for expenses, some of it was not. That's the $67,6051. So down below in the handout that I made for you, it explains the accounting of that. The library's total expenses were $149,553. Cannon County, for their maintenance of effort that year, gave $104,254.27, which left $45,298.73. We had contributions and revenues that year, including that money from the checking account, totaling $66,093.24. We had spent $45,298.73 of that. And there was also revenue gathered of $14,034, which was a grant for the computer lab that we got. That was accepted and counted as revenue for that year, but it was meant to be expended in the 11-12 fiscal year, which was done. That, again, gets back the number $67,6051. So that money is money left over from those checking accounts that was brought into the county from the library funds. Any questions on that?
No question. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve this budget amendment.
I make a motion to approve this budget amendment.
I hear a second. Jimmy Mingle, second.
Mark Barker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, the approval of the election office budget amendments.
What it is the micro vote machines have to be updated. It wasn't budgeted. So she's wanting to move it from election workers and office equipment to cover it. And the updates have to be done if they're ready for the next election.
So there's no new money.
No.
The election worker.
Corey Davenport's here, let him comment on it if you don't mind.
Sure.
What do you want to know?
Well, I just want to be able to make sure that numbers match. That's all I am.
There's no, we're not asking for any revenue.
We're not asking for anything, just for
Just
the
moving it
new.
out of one line item into the next. That's all we're doing.
Will you fall short on the election worker line item?
We don't have any other elections
There's
this
no
year.
more elections, so you've got a surplus there
So
now.
we got a surplus, so we're just moving out of that into that. Because you have to update those machines. It's required. Which luckily we have the money in there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got an excess in the election workers because we have to anticipate that every election that could be held might be held.
That's correct. We had 3 this past fiscal money right
Yeah.
here, you know, in 2020.
So they weren't actually padding their budget to
That's correct.
have the
Yeah.
election workers be overstated.
You
It
had a
was just,
presidential primary and a general election, and you had the presidential primary in November, so we actually had 3 elections. So we had to pack it for that reason. But again, that was BC, that was before Corey. So,
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
make a motion.
Kevin George makes a motion.
Second.
Kevin Mooneyham, second.
Mark Barker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yeah.
Bob Stetson.
Yes. Thank you, ladies. Oh, now we have the sheriff's office budget amendments, which he's here. Anybody got any questions about it? You were able to look at it? Except for Kevin, you didn't have it ahead of time, so. Anything new, Sheriff? I like the fact that you go through this, this service to get the patrol cars sold.
We've done better doing that than we have for the cost.
Yeah, I can see where it would help.
Those cars went to Alabama.
I didn't think you could send a whole full car to some foreign country. All right, you have the sheriff budget in front of you. Do I hear a motion to approve it?
I make a motion to approve sheriff's amendment.
I'll
Right.
second it.
That will be Russell Reed as number 1 and Mark number 2.
Mark Barker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yeah.
Bob Stetson.
Yes. Okay, we have the Industrial Development Board is going to give an update on the financial and/or policy changes to the board itself. Randall Reed is the chairman. Come on forward, Randall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a request, and I want to start out this request by just sharing with you all some of the deficiencies that were noted in the administration of the Industrial Development Board. This comes from the audit conducted for the year ending FY 2012. Melanie Hodges met with Dean Moore and myself to go over the audit, and we responded to that, to her questions and to the information that you have. In fact, if you have a local paper, today's issue, you'll probably get a pretty good synopsis of everything that's occurred. Mike West did a good job of covering that. But we have a request, and I want to get to that request by just sharing some information with you. Item number A, it says the board did not exercise sufficient oversight over its financial transactions during the year examined. And this lack of oversight resulted in financial transactions and certain decisions being made and carried out by the county executive without the knowledge of the board. Our response to item number A, and this is Dean Moore and myself, we had to write a response, and this was our written response to item number 8. As the one remaining member of the former board, that's myself, I completely agree with the auditor's statement that the lack of oversight of the former board resulted in transactions and decisions being made and carried out by the county executive without the knowledge of the board. For increased internal control of industrial board funds, the current board has formally requested that the board chairman be required to co-sign all checks written on the board's fund. If you all will recall, September the 6th of last year, I stood right here and shared with you some information concerning the fact that we wanted to put the financial transactions, for us to be able to handle our own financial transactions. And this is a result of that. It goes on to say, however, the county executive has refused to allow this change, so we couldn't co-sign checks. There's some other information that the auditor uncovered. I won't dwell on item number B. It just talks about the 3 companies that we had on hand, Crane PC Disposal and THC Select. I'd really rather not go into any details about those because we're just now finalizing the results of some litigation. So anyhow, but let me go ahead and say this. One of the things that came out of the audit, well, the amount collected, $1,500 was deposited into Fund 101 and is reflected in the financial statements as a receivable from that fund at year end. What that was $1,500 that should have been deposited into the industrial board fund. It was deposited into the general fund. So we had a shortage and thanks to the auditor, she caught this. I end up, and I won't read every line here. In item number C, I agree with the recommendation that the industrial board should implement policies and procedures to ensure adequate oversight of financial transactions. We agree with that. We want to be in compliance with that. One of the things that the auditor asked me to do when she finished the audit, she had about a 5-page document. She said, I want you to read this and sign it. I read the first paragraph. First paragraph said that we would be responsible for all financial transactions. I looked at the lady and I said, I'm sorry, I can't sign that because we do not have control over our own funds. How can I agree that we'd be in charge of our own financial transactions? So I refused to sign it, slid it back to her. She understood. She said, I'll take it back to my boss. That was the end of that audit. It was a I thought, real good audit, real positive. One thing that came out, we responded. If any of you want to read this, the entire response, or the entire audit is online. I'm sure you've read it. This is the recommendation that this article says, The board should implement policies and procedures to ensure adequate oversight over all financial transactions, including the collection of rent and process for completing repairs to buildings owned by the board. These policies and procedures should include provisions that all rental agreements are adequately documented and approved by the board. We concur. We should do that, and we want to do that. And this then is our response, the industrial board chairman's response. Can I just share some of this with you? The last thing that came up was a management response by the county executive, and he says this: no financial transactions or decisions concerning financial transactions were made by the county executive without approval from the chairman of the industrial board. And be sure you understand, this is the former board. This is not me. Everybody understand that? This is not the current board. Now, as a result of all this, and our request is just simply this, that we be allowed to handle our own financial transactions. And I've asked Doug Boulders, and all of you all know, if he would come forward at this time and share some information with you, that will shed some light on this. Thank you for your time.
Randall asked me as the vice chairman of the board, Randall and Dean have been working on this quite a bit with finances of our board. With your permission, so give you guys an update. What this information is right here, it's straight from audited numbers, audit findings, and minutes, official minutes of the Industrial Development Board. This is the first for me. This is the first time I ever stood in front of you guys. I'm off the clock. I'm just here as a representative of the Industrial Board, Vice Chairman, and hope y'all don't get your feelings hurt. I take out of here after I get done with this. Everybody got one of these? Okay. This is in a nutshell to get started. The Industrial Development Board, we're a discreetly presented component of the county. And what that means is we're basically the same as the 911 board, the school board. We actually have an incorporated charter, so we're different than, even though that we're accounted for in a fund, you know, like the general fund with the trustee office. We're actually a separate legal entity of the county. We're a part of the county, but we're separate. The reason for that is the state constitution says a city and county cannot give a tax abatement. That's against the state constitution. However, there is a clause there that says, you know, if you are an industrial development board, that meeting in a quorum and you do a written tax abatement, you can do one through that. That is legal. But as far as a city or county, you can't do those things. Of course, we get into big, huge discussion that you probably don't want to know about the benefits of a tax abatement.
Okay, you're saying that, let me interrupt you a minute. When you say city or county, you're talking about the board can't do that, but your committee can.
Correct. If your charter of Industrial Development Board that specifies in your charter that you can grant an abatement, tax abatement, then you can do that. But a city and county, like a city council or county commission or a county official, they can't do that. They don't have authority. And I mean, the state constitution says city and county can't do that.
Okay.
That's the reason for having a separate legal entity like the Industrial Development Board. That said, just like the school board and the 911 board, they of course have a budget each year that they approve for their component unit, and then of course they present it to you guys, and you guys up or down the final budget. Same with debt. We cannot just like the school board and 911, we don't have the authority under state law to issue our own debt. You know, if it falls on the county, it has to come before the county commission and the state. That said, when we first met for the first time with the quorum in June of this last year, I asked Randall, we appointed Randall, we elected him to be our chairman. I asked Randall, do we have a budget to vote on to present to the county commission as part of the budget? He said, I've never seen one. And he said, and I said, okay, well, we need to put one together, and we need to vote on one as the board to send it up to the county commission. That was, according to Randall, how many years were you on the board?
I believe I was on the board 7 or 8 years prior.
Okay, so this is probably the first budget that the IDB actually voted on in the last 7, 8 years. we also thought, okay, well, we need to find out what our assets are, liabilities, et cetera, et cetera. So it took a while, and Bob, thank you, Bob helped us locate our charter, and we've updated that since then. And also, we got to looking and digging through the minutes, 8 years of minutes, and that's when we realized we hadn't had a quorum of the board, but at the most twice in the last 8 years. What you guys have in front of you, basically, we spent the last several months reconstructing and figuring out where we were financially. If this is straight out of the audit, and what this is the statement of activities for the Industrial Development Board for this fiscal year that just ended June 30th, 2012. I want you guys to notice something. Right here, this is full accrual accounting. You have $106,736 of expenses that went through the Industrial Development Board. Charges for services, that's payment in lieu of taxes that we get from the people that are in our buildings. We got $76,053 revenue coming in. So we had a net expense, operating loss, if you say, of $30,683. And then at the bottom, you see your net assets, and what that is your buildings, your land, and you assume your equipment. Flip over that second page, and what this is, because of course, if you've ever done business, you know you can have a lot of assets. Farmers know this. You can have a lot of assets, but if you're not liquid, you can get yourself in a problem real quick. This is the balance sheet for the fund on modified accrual. This is your liquid assets. We started this fiscal year with $30,242 in the bank and some nickel and dime receivables. Look at that $30,242. That's money with the trustee. Then flip back and look at the net operating loss that we had. $30,683. If the commission hadn't acted and the board hadn't acted, if we'd hit one hiccup, we've been default. We got over $400,000 of debt that the Industrial Development Board is paying with lease payments. That's how close we got.
These are on those buildings,
Yes.
which is
On
Crane? One building?
One building, which is the liens. We had three liens. We had one that Randall caught that we actually had 3 liens on this building up until recently. One of the liens was, all 3 liens was on becoming a molded building. One of those liens was for a loan that had been paid off a couple of years ago. The lien just had never been pulled off. But we've got 2 liens left, 2 notes left. Both liens and notes are on the Cumberland molded building.
And that's a total of $400,000.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. It's in a couple more pages over.
I assume if the board had defaulted, the county would have been on the hook for the money.
Well, and that's the issue. You're probably looking through the next couple pages. Back when these loans were issued in 2004 and 2005. This is straight out of the audit right here. That's what I'm looking at. Back in 2004, the auditors took issue with this. They said an industrial development loan was not authorized in accordance with state statute. It says during the year, the board entered into a loan agreement with the Cumberland Area Investment Corporation. That's a subsidiary of the Upper Cumberland Development District on behalf of the county. It says this loan was not approved by the county commission or the director of local finance as required by TCA. So the board at the time, we looked for the minutes. There was no quorum. We couldn't even find the minutes, matter of fact. The board didn't approve this loan.
This former board.
The former board, I'm sorry, the former board, let me stress that. The former board, get me on here. But the county commission, per this audit finding, said the county commission didn't approve this loan. Look down at your second audit finding that year. It stated.
Which year is this, 04, 05?
This is 04 when that Cumberland Mold building was built. We got to go back to when this is what we've done for the last several months. We had to reconstruct, figure out where we were. That loan plus another was issued, and as you see, $986,982 was spent through that industrial development fund for construction of the building, for purchase of land, for purchase of equipment, and for working capital, which is money for the business. And that was not appropriated by the county commission. So all that money was spent with no county commission approval. The next page is the two other loans, and of course, the one of these loans got paid off the last couple of years. They issued the auditors took issue, and this is in '05, they said, hey, these other two loans, they weren't approved in accordance with state statute by the commission and the state. Okay, if you flip, so we have 3 loans at this point. If you flip over, one's been paid off. This is straight from the audit of this year. The notes, financial statements.
What page is that?
It says 47 on the bottom. This is straight from the audit.
Okay.
It's
And
just released.
that's this year's audit.
Correct. Now we're fast forward. One of the loans is paid off. If you notice right here, it shows the principal that's due on these 2 loans that we have left remaining. This is the payments that are coming out of the Industrial Development Board fund that the lease payments are being used for. The money that we got down to that low amount, $30,000 in the bank. Okay. Notice right here, right under other loans, it says the Industrial Development Board issued other loans to provide funds for the acquisition and construction of major capital facilities. And here's the important part, other loans are direct obligations and pledge the full faith and credit of the government. All right, government being Cannon County. If you flip this other page right here, the next page, you'll see the amortization table of what we owe in total. $536,654. This is what's remaining of the $900 odd that was spent without a budget and spent through those loans that were issued without authority.
That's what we were fixing to be on the hook for.
Y'all are on the hook for it.
We are on the hook.
You are on the hook for it. Now, we didn't default on it. We didn't run out of money in the fund. But there's the thing, is as you see what the audit just said, this county pledged, according to these loan documents, when you pulled the loan documents, the full faith and credit of this county, the taxpayers, was pledged for these loans that were legal issued and then spent without a budget. You flip the page, you see the Tennessee Code annotated that actually addresses industrial development loans and bonds. You notice in the middle section right here, it specifically states that before you can do an industrial bond, which is it's benefiting a private business. Of course, that private business is going to have a financial impact. And there's specific ways, I'm not going to get into it right now, but there's specific things you do before you issue an industrial bond. And one of them is, of course, it doesn't default onto the county. You cannot provide the full faith and credit for a revenue bond without, just like the law says, you should 3/4 of the voters cast their vote in favor of lending municipalities credit by pledging the full faith and credit of the municipality of the payment as surety, then the principal interest of such bonds, you can do it.
So you're saying that we have to get the people's permission
Yes.
to vote on taking over, being responsible for that.
Correct. The proper steps to do a revenue bond that has the full faith and credit of the citizens of the county, because typically you don't do that. Like Rutherford County, they issue revenue bonds when they build Nissan, Amazon, all these things down there. They're a lot like them, Murray County, a lot of these other counties. What their boards, industrial boards, will do is they'll issue what's called a revenue bond. And a revenue bond, it's like Amazon. We issue a revenue bond. The revenue from the pilot, payment in lieu of taxes, that company, that Amazon's paying to the Industrial Development Board, that's making the payment just like we're doing now. Here's the kicker though. Something happens to Amazon, Rutherford County's not on the hook. Taxpayers aren't on the hook. That bond just defaults. Because it was, they get the assets, they get that building. Whoever the bondholders can sell that building at fire sale and hopefully they'll take care of it. However, in what you would do, why would you want the full faith and credit of the citizens? You get a lower tax rate. Because you got taxes guaranteed. Because if you look down at the very bottom of this, it actually talks about what happens if you default on a bond that's guaranteed. And this is why they want 75% of the citizens to vote on something like this after the commission approves it. After the board approves it, industrial board approves it, after the commission approves it, it goes to referendum. And they want to see 75% of the voters vote for this. And the reason is right down here. It says if you default on these bonds, that the holders of these loans can force the tax rate to go up, to pay on them. You're gonna pay that. That's what we're paying now, about over 50,000, 2 cents on 11. It's guaranteed that they're gonna make their payment.
So let me ask you one more question on this so I'm clear, and then you can go forward a little bit. When you talk about asking the people and having a referendum, you talk about having a completely, an election, a set-up election,
Yes.
which
Through
would
the
cost us
election commission.
$15,000 to have an election unless we ran it with another election. So you're looking at it taking a full year or more to be able to get this money?
You'd have to, and that's typically why you don't see this. You typically see what the other counties do, just revenue bonds.
On a revenue bond.
And that way, you know, the monkey gets on the company's back and the bondholder's back if something happens.
So you're saying it should be a revenue bond instead of a municipal bond?
Exactly. Yeah, this was just this was one was the two that we're holding right now is a USDA bond, or USDA loan. And the second one is, like I said, through CRDC, which is subsidy, the district.
How did, you say two of them was a USDA?
One was a USDA and the other one was a loan through the CRDC.
How do you get approved for a USDA loan that's illegal?
Well, the thing is, if you look through the loan document, it actually asks in these USDA documents, they actually say, you know, there's a thing in there that says, hey, did you get the guarantee from people, the correct guarantees that those loans are going to be paid back? That's the USDA right there. So people sign these things and sign them, saying, hey, everything's cool.
That they've done all that?
Yeah, all it's done. It's in compliance with law. But for better or worse, that's why we were hustling since we got together, saying, okay, we've got to make sure we make these debt payments. Now, we have sold the short term. The good news is the short term, we sold that land, which we couldn't use. We walked all over. There's nothing on that hill that we could use to put a factory on. So we said if we can't use it for economic development, except maybe somebody want to put a zip line on there, but we can't use it for a factory. So it's not benefiting this county, the citizens of county.
And it was a remaining portion of what had been used for factories.
Correct. So that's the thing is we said it's time to take that and put that on the tax roll. So then Cannon County can benefit from it. So it was auctioned. We did absolute auction because it's surplus property by law. If it's surplus property, you do it to the highest bidder. We put it on absolute auction. Highest bidder took it. It's done. Same with this smaller building. It was too small. When we got to running the numbers with this consultant we engaged that do the cost benefit analysis, same ones that Murray and Rutherford County used, we quickly arrived at that building was really too small, you know, to give a decent abatement and to see an impact, more of a benefit to the citizens than what we were paying into it.
Now,
So,
he's talking about the one over at Bryant Lane.
correct. So we auctioned that one too. We had an offer. We had an offer with a private sale of like $100,000. We said, no, we're going to do absolute auction, surplus it, do absolute auction, and we wound up with $122,500. So we, by doing it by the law, we benefited the taxpayers $22,500 by doing it that way. And like I said, it was just too small to do much of an abatement with. We actually had a guy who looked at it, he came in second on the bid, and he was wanting to do a gun and knife show in there. So he's had a night.
So it was, who bought it?
Local company bought it, and we told them, hey, you're welcome to it. We wanted to let them go ahead. If they wanted to expand, and we said, we hope you bid and win, and they did.
Okay.
Okay, let's back up a little bit now. With these loans on the the Cumberland Molding building, all right, they went bankrupt. Correct? All right, we had assets in that building.
Correct.
Okay? What happened to the assets in that building to go against the loan of the payment of the loan?
Go over one more page.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Just read
He's
it.
racing ahead of him. Because once again, we're reconstructing our balance sheet as we went. We're going through all these minutes. And of course, and Randall proved some information too, but of course, we kept finding stuff that Randall wasn't aware of because he had never seen, correct me if I'm wrong, Randall, He'd been on the board all these years, he'd never seen these minutes. He said the board never approved their minutes.
He made motions
Yeah, and voted. in
and
favor.
voted.
Yeah, yeah. Notice too, typically, I said typically these don't have quorums on them. But yeah, they were voting, carrying on like they did. This is September 13, 2010. We were reading through our minutes, and that's when we spied right there. They're talking about Cumberland Molded Equipment. This is the company that went bankrupt back a few years ago. They went bankrupt, and they had some stuff for sale. So they had 2 compressors, 2 air dryers, air holding tank, water tower, $235,000 worth of equipment in this building. So we thought, okay, we got basically $250,000 of equipment that's ours, that we bought. And we looked at the capital asset listing, because the county executive's office keeps track of capital assets for the industrial board, along with the primary government, not the school, the primary government. So we pulled those, and all we had on our capital asset listing was some land and equipment. I'm sorry, some land and buildings, no equipment. So we're like, okay, well, the minutes say we got about $250,000 of equipment, and it's over at this building. So Randall and Dean Moore, they went over to pay a visit to find our equipment, because we need to tag it. So they got them a fistful of inventory tags and went over to find the equipment, and they found it.
This is just an example of what we found over there. So, as you'll notice, there's one piece of machinery, actually 2 pieces of machinery that are usable. There's a crane in there and 1 air compressor. Everything else, best we could tell, is a bunch of junk.
You want to do that, Randall?
Pardon?
I had to do that too.
Okay, all right.
Randall got to pulling because
Who put the value on this at $235,000?
that I don't know. That's whoever signed.
Would it be
Jack-
Donald, Preston,
I don't.
Donald?
We're talking about the bill and stuff.
On the Cumberland Mold, the equipment, what do your,
Okay, what we do, we don't put a value on it, we just take what they give for it, depreciate it
for your property?
for property, personal property.
Yeah, that's his partner, 4th District.
I think if you guys get a chance to look at those, Randall was able to find, we noticed that this company was under bankruptcy at the time, and we bought this $250,000 of equipment from this company. And then we noticed, according to the minutes, that the money was actually shot from the sale of the money that we paid $18,000 for this equipment, the county did, the industrial board. The $18,000 was dispersed from our fund directly to a secured creditor instead of the bankruptcy trustee. So when that right there, that letter right there from the president of the company, the county executive, was attached to the canceled check that went to that secured creditor. Now, one thing, if you notice on those photos, most of that equipment, except that one good air compressor, the rest of it's junk, busted. Everything else is attached to the building.
When were these photos taken? When were these taken?
October 5th,
And this year, or last year, 2007?
2012.
So the original estimate was 2010, and so they've sit there for 2 years,
Yeah,
is what you're saying. And now they're worth that much.
But then again, what bothers me, if the company was in bankruptcy and was going through a bankruptcy court, how can you go directly to a lender and pay them without it going through a bankruptcy court?
It's a good question. I'm no bankruptcy.
His counteroffer was $18,000. That equipment was never worth $235,000. Business people don't sell $235,000 of equipment for $18,000. I don't care what kind of shape they're in. It never was worth that. I don't know who put that on there, but
I don't need that thing, we don't know.
It says 38,000 right there.
in the letter it does. I'm talking about over in his minutes.
Oh, yeah.
In his board minutes.
But the thing is if you notice on these pictures, except for the one good air compressor, basically everything, the crane, and it lists out in the minutes that we bought the crane and all this other stuff. That stuff's actually attached to the building. Here's the actual lease from that company that bankrupted, and it states in the lease, signed lease, it says that all buildings and improvements upon the expiration and termination of this lease will be given over to the lessor in good condition. So we actually bought our own equipment. By this lease and by law, that's our equipment anyway, except for the one air compressor that wasn't attached.
So we made $18,000 payment to their note.
And we don't know, we haven't got to the point where we check to see if we actually have, that title to those things. We haven't got that point yet. We just know we got a bunch of junk that's not attached to the building. But anyway.
I had, when you had gone through this before, almost a year ago now, didn't we buy that crane for them though?
We bought the crane, according to the minutes, we bought the crane from the default, or the bankrupt company, but we owned it, it's ours now. But like I said, it's attached to the building, so by law, I mean, if you rent something, you attach it to the building, it's yours.
Yeah.
And plus by the lease of the company that bankrupted, it was ours per the lease, because it was attached to the building.
So when we built this building, we put that crane in?
That's another question we haven't figured out. We might have issued debt to buy that crane, and then we bought it back.
That's all speculation. That crane was not there when the building was built. It was built to accommodate a crane. Cumberland Mold bought the crane. That was part of their equipment that was tied up in bankruptcy in First National Bank. That's all a bunch of bull. And the reason that Randall Reed was on the committee, he knows when it was presented to him, I forget, they wanted 25,000 or 20, and they come down to 18. And the reason that when we got ready to re-rent it, we wanted the crane, the whole crane, the 250,000, the whole amount was what all of that would cost if you bought it used.
You want to address the board later?
I'm going to listen
I mean,
to
if you
this
can,
crap anyway.
well,
This
he's
is not true.
He's telling us,
Right.
and we've asked him to make a report.
Let somebody
He has the floor.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I speak to that?
Well, no, Randall, let's go on and get this right here.
Could I clarify something?
Oh, go ahead.
I think it will make some sense out of this. The crane and other equipment, the motion here in this courtroom, one night a motion was made, no. A request was made that we purchase the crane and related equipment that's on this list here for $18,000. I think I made that motion, that we do that. For whatever the reason, that never occurred. The next meeting we had, which was some period of time later, 3 or 4 months later, in Mike's office, that subject came up again. And my question was this: we've already discussed this, we've already voted on it. I did what I did, I made the motion to accommodate and move on. The next time this came up, and it came up in Mike's office, I asked the question, why are we discussing this again? We've already made the motion, it was voted on, no quorum, that's beside the point. And I couldn't figure out why this came up again. My feeling, I was very strong in this. I was very adamant in this. If just to go ahead, in order to resolve the issue, pay the man $10,000 and be done with it for everything that we had. That's the last I heard of it. Only quite some time later, I'm talking about a long time later, did I find out that we had written, the industrial board had written, or a check had been written and funds withdrawn from the industrial board's account to the tune of $18,000 for the crane and equipment. I didn't even find that out from a board member. I found that out from somebody on the street. So this gets pretty close to home to me. So I want you to be sure to listen to what this gentleman's saying. There's a lot of things going on here that we didn't know about as a board. And we uncovered all this stuff. So be careful and listen to what this man said. I concur with what you've said. We quite well purchased what we already owned.
Okay.
I'll give you time now.
To wrap this up, this last page on this, it states, this is straight out of the audit from this fiscal year. It said the county executive, and all these audit findings, they're written up under the county executive, the county mayor's office, the unauthorized loans, the expenditures, the checks go through there. But they had a material audit adjustment was required for the county's capital asset records for proper financial statements. And my point on this is, we only have, when we pulled our financial assets, you know, the listing from the county exec's office, all we had on there was land and buildings. You know, we found out the equipment, and with all, you know, we got issues with the asset side of the balance sheet, with the liabilities, with the operations, money going in the wrong fund. And when we are that close, that low of a fund balance, cash in the bank, well, not fund balance, cash in the bank, or cash trustee, we've stated for the moment by selling these assets that we didn't need, so we're liquid. So that, rest assured, you know, if something crazy happens, we're making those debt payments for the short term. Working with this company over here, they've been, and I do not blame these businesses at all. I want to be sure these businesses have done nothing wrong. You know, if I'm a businessman and somebody offers me something, I'm taking it. I mean, that's business. So I don't fault any business. What we're here for, like Randall asked, our industrial development board, we as a board, you know, statutory, you guys put us there to watch over this and also to do some economic development. As a board, it's a fiduciary duty under state law that we mind the store. These audits saying it, we ain't minding the store. You know, we're not seeing what's happening. For $800 more a year from our funds, we can engage a certified public accountant who's also the former finance director of Rutherford County, who's also on the Rutherford County Industrial Board, who can watch every penny of that money, and that man reports directly to our board. We have complete control of the funds that the public trusted us with. And that's what we're here tonight, to ask you guys for a motion to allow us to engage come July 1st, 2013, take every dime of our money out of the county exec's office and put it with that CPA. And that's the same exact setup that all these other industrial building boards are going on in the area.
Doug, I didn't realize that until I had read it in the paper, that y'all were going to be asking a question like that, and that is something that would have to be put down on paper and we see ahead of time. So unless I'm wrong, we'll have to put it out till our April meeting. Okay, and then we can put it down there as that you're asking to be able to spend that money on a CPA of your own and break loose from the county.
Correct. And that would be pending the comptroller's permission, which I'd be really surprised.
Okay, now who sends it to the comptroller? You?
What's the difference in doing
We'll
that
send
in
it
a
up
budget
there,
amendment?
that's fine.
What's the difference in doing that and any other budget amendment that we voted on tonight that we hadn't seen? I don't think we had any tonight, but we have them all the time that we don't see until we get here. What's the difference in voting on letting them spend $800 out of their own money?
Okay, well, the only thing I can say to that, Kevin, is it's kind of erring on the cautious side, that we would err on the cautious side. One of the things is we already got the county executives, these audit findings and everything else like that have named the county executive. Doug and the IDB have brought it out that way, and he takes, he doesn't agree with it. I wanted it to be
My point is this, Bob. If you're using the logic that we can't vote on it because we haven't seen it, and it's dealing with money, and we vote on money all the time in here, and we said we weren't going to, but it's just been a meeting.
That's what I'm saying. We had set up
a meeting or two ago. We had to do it because we had to get something done that we hadn't seen.
Yeah, because we were 3 months behind.
What's the difference? Well, they have to do.
Well, I'll tell you, this is actually something that, as far as chairman goes, that the whole commission here can actually vote that they want something that way, and they can just about override me. It's just like me not bringing something up. If I say I'm not bringing it up, and you say no, we really want to hear it. If you vote and all of you say yeah, we want to hear it, I have to give it. I have to give it to you.
Okay.
You're looking. Are you looking for expediency or just?
I don't have a whole lot of confidence in leaving it there after reading what I've read tonight,
Well, I know, it's upsetting.
even for a month.
Well, let's see now, we've heard from one side, let's hear from Mike.
So,
For a rebuttal.
Would they not have to do a budget amendment though to get that done, or?
No, well, this is
You
gonna
can set
be,
up a
This-
separate account like you did the ambulance.
yeah.
This will be,
You'll have to have a resolution.
it'll be just like 911. You know, they have a CPA that takes care of them. It's just when you pull, like Rutherford County, they have their own thing. They don't run through the trustee office. We're being charged, supposed to be around 1% on a commission. So basically, we're gonna be charged around $1,600 next year, next fiscal year, just for the trustee to write 2 receipts a month in commission, trustee commission. For $800 more, we can get a CPA to take care of all our books.
Well,
Because it won't go to the
Well, do
trustee, but we'll
you
still.
need to bring a resolution at the
We
next
can,
meeting?
if that's what you guys want, that's fine. I mean, because once again, I'll tell you what, if it's all right with y'all, I mean, it's fine. We'll work up a resolution and bring it to you guys, and attorney can
Next
review
month.
it.
I would like it better that way.
That's fine, and we're fine, because the transfer would take place, we want to make it clean, July 1st. You know, we would have the trustee disperse it to a bank account from the county trustees' books and their account, go to account in Murfreesboro, or local bank, probably local bank. And then the CPA from that moment on would take care of all of our things.
All right, so what you and Mr. Reed are telling us right now, we've got a loan of $454,000.
Two.
You got 2
Those two.
total.
That's right, and that's not me and Mr. Reed. I mean, I made
Well, I'm
sure that you guys see, this is coming straight from, this
This
ain't
is
my
out of
thing.
all-
Well, I mean, this is out of
This is all
but
this,
what y'all are telling us right now, this is what we owe.
as of July 1st, 2012. So we've made a few small monthly payments off that amount, but yeah, give or take, that's what you owe.
Okay. And you're saying the way these loans were written and was signed for, that the voters of the county agreed to this?
No, that's what I'm saying is per the audit, those things were issued without commission.
Without a vote?
Without anything, without the commission even voting on it. And then the money was expended without a budget by the commission.
Okay.
But the taxpayers of this county are on the hook.
But the USDA loans were signed saying that all that was done.
Right?
But all that was in '04, right?
That one was in '05.
Okay.
But that's, like I said, we brought we're just here to show you, this is the stuff we dealt with. We just arrived at the conclusion, the board did. We just need to have, in order for us to have financial control as a board, we need to have a financial management that answers directly to us and is accountable to the board. And that's what we're asking. We want to be treated just like every other industrial board in this area and just have our own accountant. You guys will still approve the budget. We'll still have an audit.
Well, I'll tell you what, gentlemen, I'm glad we done what we did and we redone this board. I mean, we could have been in a heck of a shape more than what we are right now.
I appreciate the work too.
I mean, y'all done a lot of digging. And I personally appreciate what y'all have done because the voters of this county, we were looking at something that was gonna be horrendous. And we still are there.
We are far more liquid than we were a year ago.
Y'all done a good job.
I would want y'all to stand by for rebuttal if the county executive going to, and then you can go home.
I've got one comment. Now the things out of this year's audit, this is the payment schedule up to 2024, right?
That's correct.
For the next 12 years.
Those two loans.
And we're able right now to make our payments and then some.
We're in good shape.
In good shape. That's what
Right at this moment, we're in good shape. And working towards getting in better shape.
Good.
Good. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mike.
Sir, first of all, I'm 100% in favor of what they're wanting to do. I wish you'd do it today. But if you'd rather have a resolution, that's fine. I want to cover one thing about the 2 signatures. I never refused to have 2 signatures. Mr. Reed sat in my office, and I told him that was fine with me, but I needed to call the auditor first. I called Carl Lowe, and I'll be glad to see if he'll meet with you. And Carl, I'm talking now.
I've got that on audio where you did refuse.
But not after I met with him in my office. You don't have that on.
Absolutely, it was during our meeting.
What?
It was during our meeting, sitting right here.
No, it wasn't. I met with Mr.
You want me to bring the audio?
I met with Mr. Reed in my
Of course,
office.
that's crap too.
I met with Mr. Reed in my office.
We're not gonna get shouting mad.
Now, y'all are buying a bunch of crap, is what you're buying. I'm gonna tell you why. And I want, I know 2 or 3 of you done made your mind up, you didn't hear both sides. You heard one side. So, I probably don't need me being up here with some of you. But I did not refuse it. I first said I didn't think it was legal and all that. I told Mr. Reed, let me check with the auditors. I called Carl Lowe. If you any question, I'll see if he'll talk to you. He says he does not recommend it because if an emergency come up, that means they got to get 2 people. He advised me to not pay any bill without his signature. So that's basically the same thing. I do not pay anything till Randall Reed tells me to pay it and signs off, dates it. Period. If you don't believe me, come down and I'll show you. So what's the difference in 2 signatures on a check and 1 signature on a check and the industrial board chairman on the request for it? I won't pay anything for the industrial board till it's got Randall Reed's name on it. And that's because of what the auditor advised me to do. That's the first thing I want. We were never, I called the auditors, well, I called 2 divisions of the comptroller's office. And I read what was in the cooler and I sent them a copy of it. And I said, what are they talking about? Now I'm going to tell you what I was told. The referendum thing. The comptroller's office said they've never heard of that. They said you do not have to. The county commission approved building and buying the land for Cumberland Mold. Now why they can't find it on the records, I don't know. Now, I want to ask you a common sense question. USDA, have y'all ever dealt with them? We've been working for over a year to get a $30,000 grant for a farmer's market. They cross every T and dot every I. They worry you to death. Do you really think USDA approved a loan that was illegal? Do you really think that the Economic Community Development approved a loan that was illegal? Now, CAIC is a lot less complicated, but those 2, that building was built at the time for we bought the property with a small building on it. The building was built at the time for roughly, I'll say, $1 million. At the time this board took over, we had over $2 million in assets. We were never, and I called one other thing, I called the auditor's office. I said, what are they talking about defaulting? They don't know. They have no idea what they're talking about defaulting. Crane and Tier pay $7,200 a month in rent. There was 3 loans to build this building. 1 has been paid off. The payments are around $5,000. Now tell me why you're nearly at default when you got $7,200 coming in rent that's supposed to be used to pay for another industrial fund because that was a grant given to Cannon County years ago. How are you nearly in default when you've got $2,500 or $2,000 more dollars coming in than you're paying out? So Crane was paying for the second building, even it empty. When it was full, they were paying $5,500. But even during the Great Recession, 2008, and they went broke, the building was empty, Crane still was bringing in $2,000 a month more than that. So I don't know, the comptroller's office, the auditors I spoke with, they don't know what they're talking about.
But hold on that, Mike. I think probably what we're looking for is not just the story of going down to why something would be. We need to, they came up with specific things, the numbers and comptrollers and auditors and everything else like that. And we would have to, I would have to have the same thing saying that, no, this didn't happen. And, they've got it written down. And I...
All right, you can go back to... They keep blaming me for the rent not being paid. I do. Our office does 95% or better of the bookkeeping for all the departments in Cannon County. We do not have the authority to evict them because I'm not a member of the industrial board. All I did was their book work. basically. I did their book work. If the old industrial board had wanted them evicted, they would have had to do it. I didn't have that authority. When you got a tenant in a great recession, you work with them. They didn't tell you that at one time we had $140,000 or $50,000 in money. Where'd it go? Well, somebody on this board told I stole it. Well, I want them to show.
Told what?
Told that I stole it. But you know what? I wish they'd tell me, because I must have Alzheimer's. I forgot where I hid it. So what I'm saying, they forgot that they gave Crane $60,000 or $80,000 worth of rent abatement to get them through the Great Recession. Mr. Reed was on that committee when we did it. They came, they asked for rent abatement to get them through. And they were given 6 or 8 or 10 months of no rent. At that time, that loan was being paid out of the money we had. Not only were we not taking in $7,200 a month, we were paying out $55 or whatever out of the money we had built up. I didn't vote on that. It wasn't my idea. Crane approached the industrial board. So now I want to touch on a few other things.
Well, we've got a lot of business, Mike.
Well, you give them higher, so you ought to give me 50.
They were on the agenda.
And I'm on the agenda too. I'm on the same issue. So you got the board chairman approval for all spending today, and you had it before. I didn't spend one dime that Jackie Francis didn't tell me. Now, are you calling Jackie Francis a crook?
Nobody's calling you a crook anyway. They're telling you what the auditors
Bob,
have
I'm not
found.
here to argue with you. I'm here to do what they did. I'm giving my side of the issue.
Well, I wish you had some more facts than just tell it.
If you'll let me finish, then you got your own board. You had Buddy Davenport, you had John Higgins, Gary Nichols. You want me to just keep naming? I mean, are they all crooks? Come on, guys. Are y'all gonna believe all this stuff? So go ahead and move it. I don't want anything to do with it. And the loans were not illegal. If they were, I'm the smartest man in County because I pulled it past USDA, I pulled it past the Economic Community Development, I pulled it past the auditors. I pulled it past everybody. I will try to get you a meeting with the auditor, and I'll have the auditor, I don't know if they'll do it. I'll have them come down and meet with you. And we got the chairman of the audit committee sitting right here. I'm gonna ask him if he will meet with them, if she or he, whoever, is their auditor next year. If they won't meet with you guys, they'll meet with the audit committee. And
I think you got one scheduled, don't you, Glenn? April 2nd.
I have an exit interview on every single auditor in this county, whether it's them or whatever. And the auditor, when she left my office, she told me, she said, "This is the best audit you've had in years." I sent a letter stating that to the commissioners. And then Carl Lowe told me we got the best audit committee in the region, in his opinion, as far as their knowledge and how thorough they are. And I thought, well, she says I have a good audit. I guess they'll figure some way to make it look bad for me. Well, they have. But I tell you what I'll do. I'll get them here to meet with the audit committee, if nothing else, about all this. This is the first I've heard of any of this. And the crane was put in long after Cumberland Mold got there. They bought the crane. It was a piece of their personal equipment. They come to us for it. $25,000. Mr. Reed and them told me to negotiate to 15 was his words. We'll give 15, if I remember correctly. I negotiated from 25 to 18, come back and they said buy it. We bought a chiller, whatever a chiller is, I think, 2 or 3 compressors, but the reason we bought it is the crane itself, so when they leave, the crane would be with the building. Now that's the truth. If you want, and like I said, I'll be happy to try my best to get the auditors down here. And let me see if I left anything out. I guess I've covered it pretty well. But this is, if I fooled all those people, you guys need to give me a pay raise because I'm smarter than I thought I was. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mike.
I have a question.
We do have a question on, of who? Mike or of the
Them? I forgot what it
IDB?
was, IDB. I forgot what I was gonna ask, Bob.
Was it something that Mike said?
I've got a question for the IDB then, while you're thinking about that.
All right.
Is that all right?
Yep.
We do have $2 million in assets, right?
Yes,
And you think that we're gonna start going the right direction on building that back up? Our liquidity, like President Bush said, got too tight for a while.
we were,
Because-
let me tell you just how close we were, gentlemen.
Well, I mean, but we still were $2 million, but we were eating close to it.
Well, that's building,
I know,
land.
I know.
Okay, yeah. Let me just tell you how close we were. And it's in the October 6th report that I shared with you guys. I think I'm right there. The county, for whatever the reason, I won't go into that because I don't know, the county was on the hook for the utility deposits and utility bills for one of our companies. The deposit for that electric bill,
One of our buildings.
one of our buildings, was, I think, $25,000. That's in addition to whatever their monthly bill might have been. At one point in time, they were delinquent. The county had to pay the power bill, all right?
No, we
You did-
have not paid up
Okay.
power bill. I don't know where you guys get that.
Okay, let me back up. The power was turned off. You made a phone call. They paid the power bill.
Which company you talking about?
THC.
I never
Okay.
heard of THC being turned off.
Point was, had we, or had they defaulted and not paid their power bill on a timely basis, we would have been in the red right here. We'd had to pay that, we'd been in the cash.
I assume you talked to the power company.
Pardon?
I assume you talked to somebody at the power
Oh,
company
yeah.
about that being turned off.
John and I became real good friends.
John Barker.
Barker.
Yes.
You cut your electricity off, they'll pay the bill.
You cut the electricity off, they would pay the bill. Anyhow, we were that close. Now, it worked out fine. Like Doug said, these people are gonna be really, really good people in our community, and we're proud for them. We see a lot of good things coming out of this, but it got real close. Got real close.
One other question, I
Sure.
mean, since you said something about a power bill, whose name was the electric bill in?
The name was in the county,
Because it's our building.
county. Not IDB, county. Right?
And it was said that we paid power bills. We did not pay power bills. They started operations the 1st of February. We paid power bills for about 3 months and water bills to get the old ones out, the new ones in. I've got the evidence in the office. Diane's got it all on hand. Now, was it in our name? Yes. The reason for that was I had told Mike Corley to work out a lease agreement with them, and there was some conflict as to how much it cost them to ready the building, and we never really got that settled. And then about that time, you guys switched industrial boards, and it just got lost in the shuffle, I guess. But the electricity was in our name, but we have never paid 1 penny of electricity for THC Select. And only a month or two ago, and Mr. Reed, I take it you don't care to butt heads with me, so I'm gonna come back with you. They've spent $8,000 in a lawsuit because THC sued them. We never spent a penny over a lawsuit. Now, if they're that good of guys now, why weren't they that good of guys 3 months ago where they could have negotiated?
Could I comment about the power bill?
Yep.
There's a canceled check in the basement of this courthouse to the tune of $17,524 of power bills paid out of the industrial development funds. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're exactly right. Before they took over the
That was
building.
from July to
That's right.
January.
That was when the building was empty, sir.
I thought of my question when you get ready.
We did not pay their taxes.
Better hurt my ass so I don't get it. I did.
It's enough. Now, what was your question?
My question is to the IDB board. Before this commission, I say before, in times past, when we have been told or even shown that there's a chance that there's illegal activity, it's been sent to the comptroller's office. Have y'all sent? I was something that hit me a little bit when I was reading these audit findings. Every one of them has a TCA code that was violated, and for those of you who don't know, that's a state law. My question is are we sitting on this, or are somebody else going to investigate it, or can you say?
I'd like to respond to that by saying this. Past September the 6th, I believe, Mr. Bush, I gave you a kind of an overview of where I spoke in front of the board. September the 6th. From that point, is that right? September 6th? From that time on, we collected a lot of information. We collected lots of information. Canceled checks, fire bills paid by the Industrial Development Board, stuff that you have here in front of you. We became concerned that knowing what we knew, and keep in mind, we're not auditors, we're not fact finders, we're just an Industrial Development Board. We're just 7 guys who are trying to get industry in Cannon County. We became inundated with a lot of information. We felt like it'd be in our best interest and the interest of Cannon County if we took this information and shared it with the state controller, which we have done. Does that answer your question?
Yep, that'll take care of it.
So now it lays with the comptroller. You nothing heard from them, or?
No, it's for them.
All right. I suggest a 5-minute break for everybody to stretch their legs and cool off a little bit, all right?
Can I look at this camera?
Sure.
I want to show you something.
I've got some notes in there.
That's all right. Well, if you mind me looking at
No,
it.
I don't have it in there. I don't mind it. I usually write them so I can repeat them.
What is it? You had discussed that other thing.
No, not yet.
There's somewhere in the audit it says there's no criminal findings in this audit. It says it in this audit.
Okay.
I don't know where. I looked through it and found it because I've seen some things too. But it's literally in white and black in that audit.
Most of the
things. It says it's in the general accounting practices. It still falls within the general accounting practices
most of the things
under the United States Constitution.
Most of the things they brought, that's in this area that they brought tonight.
Statute of limitations.
If you look at it, it's not this year's audit. It's 04 audit, 05.
Yeah, none of us as well.
I wouldn't either. I couldn't see
Me too. Me and you both did. But I think the statute of limitations is out on the 2004. I may be wrong.
You want to hang on?
Here's the real picture.
No, I don't need that.
Is that where we want? I think I got you.
To get the money, but they want to.
Here you go. Here you go. I saved you the paperwork for it.
They got $7,000.
We were just asking y'all for I thought,
I like getting it.
You guys got an education.
I'm for all of it going in its own budget.
And that's why I tell them, let's just cut the drama, just for $800 more extra above what we're playing the trustee.
I'm fine with that.
Exactly. Then
You know me, I want everything in its own budget.
Exactly.
I like the board over everything. That one person doesn't work.
In complete control of that. And you know, you look at CPA, he's on Industrial in Rutherford, he's the finance director, just he retired.
I don't have no trouble with that.
Oh yeah. I knew you guys would. We gotta ask.
Is that all we just paid? Bring them in. There's no other we just there's some other insurance.
Oh, yeah.
This time, right now, we can.
Kevin. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Not looking one. I think most.
After all that.
You know, using that period.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, we gonna try to finish this up tonight? Yeah. I'm better. I'm better, thank you. Yeah. I've had a rough
Where's that?
Work. They've changed his schedule. It's going to be hard for him to make them at tonight. I forgot what it is, but I forgot. He goes in the afternoons and he gets off sometimes early in the morning. I don't know how that works exactly. It's some weird hours, yeah. It's,
You really throw it off.
yeah. Oh, I know. He's not delivering now, he's driving a truck. I think he runs like Murfreesboro, maybe to Nashville, then to Memphis, and then back to Memphis, something like that.
Step back for him?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he come in here originally after somebody stepped down, right? And then you came in after somebody stepped down.
Yeah. I hadn't talked to him lately. I need to call him. Check on him, man. I told him I said, I'll research it.
I've got what I thought was getting to bring. Well, I hadn't been involved. I come straight down home down here. And still got to go back. I ain't had my 9-gun arson. That's probably what it is.
No, it's me over there rubbing you on the back.
No, you ain't been close enough tonight.
You don't know that.
I've heard it's supposed to about out.
You know, I heard one all the way down there.
Just to try.
I thought you had.
No.
You're closer than that much.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, since we're getting started back, there's been some, for better choice of words, I guess, some serious allegations that have been brought forth tonight. I don't know if the IDB board's right. I don't know if Mike Gannon's right. That's not for me to decide. But I'm going to put something in the form of a motion. And that is that we as a commission authorize Chairman Bob Stetzel to send a letter on behalf of the County Commission to District Attorney General Bill Weitzel to let him investigate to see if there's any wrongdoing's been done, and that'll ice the cake right there. If he comes back and he says there's nothing done, let it lay. But this bickering backwards and forwards has got to stop. So I put that in the form of a motion that we as the County Commission give Bob the authority to send a letter on behalf of the Commission to District Attorney General Bill Weitzel to launch an investigation into the allegations that's been made.
Ball sack.
We got to.
Well, can we just go a step further and can we go to the State Attorney General?
I don't know. I'm good with the DA. I'm good with the District Attorney. But that's my motion.
If the comptroller was given information like that and they was to send it, they would send it to where? To our DA or to the state's attorney?
I think it would go to the DA of the local jurisdiction.
Okay.
Now, whether he acts on it or not is his decision, whether he thinks there's enough. But I think if we ask him to look into it, I think it'll take just a little more clout. I'm tired of this arguing.
Well,
Preach on, bro.
That settles it pretty quick that way.
Yeah.
You got a motion in a second.
Yeah.
You got a vote.
Bobby?
Mark Barker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Holmgren,
Yes.
David Mingham,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
David George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yes.
Bob Stetson,
Yes.
9 cards.
All right, next we have Donald Preston.
Make sure that you include a copy of that vote with your letter.
Okay. Yeah, you got that?
You know what I'm saying?
It has to be a nice, neat vote, so I can put it with it and send it to the DA. Okay.
I hope that ends all the questions.
Well, that's one thing that you have to look at. Is it going to end any questions if he refuses to do it? Or it ends it because he's going to investigate it?
At least we've called for something and we ain't sitting here.
Okay.
I'm not taking either side. I don't know.
All right. Donald Preston.
Okay, what I need to get y'all to do is approve the equalization board. Got 5 members on it, just need to get y'all to approve them. And kind of like, you know, like you said before, one from each district. And all I need just a vote
approved.
Did you get a copy of this, Bobby? Or Cynthia?
Yeah, we know who they are, I don't
Okay. Willis Knox, Doyle Duke, Terry Hutchins, Jimmy Williams, Tommy Malone, and Wallace King.
Put Wallace on there as an
Alternate.
Oh, in case
Right.
one of them out. Last year, there was two of them out at the same time. We had to get Wallace to come in and fill in. So we just put him in case one of them don't show up or something, we can call him in.
And also, if you will, Donald, explain about the calculation for the certified tax rate.
Okay, that's.
We're gonna make a vote on this first.
Second.
All right, we got a first and a second. Todd. We'll just say aye. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? All right, carries. All right, now you can ask Donald.
The calculation form for the certified tax rate, doing the reappraisals.
Okay, what we done was we reappraised the whole county, and the value went down. So the tax rate went up to bring in the same amount of money. It was $244 last time. It's going to be, this is just an estimate. We got the equalization board meeting. It could go up one way or another cent. But that's to bring in the same amount of money, $247. What brought in last year. Our office can't bring in extra money by reappraising. This first time property values went down since I've been in, and the tax rate went up. Most times it's the other way around. Tax rate goes down. So.
But did property value go down all over the county or just in certain areas?
Certain areas. I'm gonna give you some figures off the top of my head. Houses just went down about 6%. Just the average house did. But the land prices, lot price is about the same. Farm land, this side of the county went down. It had been settling like the cropland. Now the cropland went up out in our area where I live, out in the flatlands, because I reckon because of corn. And Greenbelt is a big kicker. Greenbelt is going to be going up 36% because of the way that calculator is awful like your farm model, like corn, say like in 2006, corn, when we done the Greenbelt then, was like $3.50, $4 a bushel. Now it's $7. Soybean was 7 or 8, I guess. I don't. Kevin probably tell me more what they were back in '06. But now they up about $14, $15 a bushel. So that's a lot. That took into consideration on the Greenbelt. They call it the use value because it's producing.
Figuring on what it makes. You wait till I tell all them farmers that you're taking the Greenbelt up 36%.
I know it. I done figure mine done went up $200-something because I'm on the Greenbelt. that's.
Let me ask one more question, Donald. In the areas where the property value went up, did their appraisals go up on theirs? In the areas where the property value went down?
Okay, most people appraisal, except the Greenbelt, didn't go up that much more. It's just that I don't know how to explain it, but how you some been paying more, some didn't go up as much because certain areas,
And certain areas shouldn't have went up at all, correct?
What?
Certain areas shouldn't have went up at all.
No, most everybody.
Or maybe it went down in certain areas.
Most everybody went down. The values did. Like I say, that rate right there, one reason why there wasn't more difference in that was because the Greenbelt went up like, I say 36%. That was a big jump. So they're going to get hit. Like some of these houses in town, where we had them appraised for like 80, 90,000, they come in about 60,000 now on their schedules. So they went down big time here in town.
And according to this, we had $1,500,000 worth of new construction too.
Yeah, we had new construction built.
That's good.
Any more questions for Donna? We thank you for that information too. All right. Number 11, Jim Bush wants to address the commission.
Well, I just want to tell everybody that Miss Eleanor Watkins has got her water. It's been a long time coming. I want to thank the Gassaway community and all the people that's donated their time and effort in this, and then all the organizations that's donated money to the cause. I'm going to put an article in the paper of all the people that's donated their time and efforts and monies in this. The total that it cost to do this, after everything was said and done, was $9,264. That's including the tap, water lines, labor, and all. But it was a long time in coming, and I'm glad we got it done for this lady in Gassaway. And you know, I think everybody deserves a good hand in this. The Gassaway community, they really got on board with us to help us with this, and I just want to take this time to say thank you to everybody that's helped in this.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. I did see the picture of some of the neighbors that had helped down there. All right, number 12, approval of county general budget amendments. Is there anything you need to speak to, Mike?
None unless someone has questions.
Okay.
What's the legal services for under miscellaneous? 1638?
Dobson lawsuit.
Dobson's lawsuit?
Yes, yes.
And this is this would be Mike Corley.
Is
The
Corley?
legal services would be,
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. That would be, is it?
I think it is, yeah.
Huh?
It is, I believe.
Okay.
Corley's handling, is he handling our part of it?
Yes.
And I'm sure that'll go up.
Yeah, that'll go up.
It is now.
I need to go look at them doors.
yeah, pretty nice.
$13,000 worth of doors. I need to go over there.
That's not just going.
Any questions?
What's been done to the building over at Mike cost so much?
Well, we were about to shut us down. We had to put in an ADA door at the election office. That the one we had wasn't wide enough. Okay, so we had to put out, I forget the cost of that. I don't know. But anyway, then we had to do, we had to put 27 or 8 entrances and exit, but had to have exit lights with exit signs that lit up with emergency lights when they were high. And there's a lot of ins and outs to that old building. And now that's just, I'm gonna warn you, may just be the start of it. We were very fortunate in one thing, the guy that is our fire representative, he's an assistant fire marshal. He's the nicest guy you'll ever work with from the state. He told me, he said, I know how small counties are, I'm gonna work with you. He could have shut us down that day. This has bought us quite a bit of time. He says it'll keep him out of trouble as long as he can show we're working toward getting the bill. I will get into everything, but there's an area or two that he can help us with. In the end, will save some money also. So he's really, Jimmy Teal is his name. Yeah, if you want to contact him, he's a really nice guy. And our next step, I don't know what it is, but we've got past the critical stage now. The next step, I can come to you and ask you for the money and tell you what it's for. But this was what it took to keep it open.
That's when they had come in and said that it was fire trap and everything else.
Yes. And here's why we went ahead and did it. County attorney, our engineer, and Jimmy Teal told us that tomorrow, Lord forbid, if somebody had gotten hurt over there, the county could have been sued for millions. He said, you do it, if I were you, I would do it today. So we've gotten past that, the really, really hard part. We're about to have to shut the building down. Now, the next phase will be a longer, drawn-out thing. It's got to do with a couple of things, but he's working with me, and I'm trying to keep the cost down as much as possible.
And the capital outlay, other capital outlay, it was for this?
No, it's for the fire trucks.
Where you,
Oh, the
down
seven-
here, where you talking about?
Right here.
That's, you remember y'all approved $130,000 to buy 3 fire trucks?
Is that the payment?
That's the extra.
That's the extra the fire trucks cost.
You remember? And remember I talked to you and I said, where did you intend to take the other 17,000? And you thought the commission, maybe even voted to take it out of fund balance.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
That's what that is.
All right.
But, wait a minute, let me explain. It's only 13,792. If you look below it, you see that 3,208? That's the sale of,
The
which
junk,
truck,
yeah.
Mike?
The second fire truck, the soldier scrap.
So we applied that to the 17,000, so actually we only took 13, almost 13,800. Yeah.
Okay. And those fire trucks, chief, are doing good? All the new ones you got?
We still, I haven't released that last check yet because he still hasn't come up and fixed the problems yet.
Okay, good.
Just waiting on what, a date, John, with yours? Friday. This coming Friday? So maybe he'll be here to work on all of them. Hopefully, so.
Okay.
We did get the Gassaway old truck since they got done with the lady on Gassaway filling up our well and got that water to her. We did get the old truck to the junkyard. Now, when we sell that truck, we don't know where we're gonna put that money at.
Well, we'll leave that up to you.
Debt service?
Yeah. Yeah, let you do that.
Well, I was thinking when we agreed to buy these trucks, that we said when we sold the old trucks that we was gonna put that money back towards paying for these trucks.
Yeah, he did. That's what he did.
Yeah, so when they sell this one, it'll be the same thing, won't it?
The first 2,000 one, y'all said we could put on this new Cascade truck. That was $2,000 there. The second 3,000 went back on that, which Mike just told you.
Right.
Now, the Gassaway truck, when Jerry sells it, put it back in debt service.
Yeah, it'd be the same.
You mean fund
Yeah.
balance?
Fund balance, yeah.
So actually, I'm having to do a $13,792 fund balance transfer right now, but once he sells that, that total will actually
Go back
down,
in.
whatever that truck is.
Yeah.
Just wait on 2,000 pounds.
When he does that, will that be another budget amendment?
It'll have to be another budget amendment.
So we'll see it when it
As
comes
a
through.
revenue income.
Right.
I think it's like 2,100 pounds. 2,100, I believe what it weighed.
Oh, I don't know.
That was Saturday when we took it to work.
Yeah.
The $5,522 is the
Should've let the
last
tank
of
full.
the water line money that came in, and we closed out the water line on,
Rutherford County?
no, out the flat.
Oh, yeah.
Lake Ann, Bass Sam Ridge.
Right.
and
Old Prospect.
Phoenix Center.
Old Cross Street, yeah. All right, we need a motion to approve or not approve the budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the county general budget amendment.
Second.
Jimmy Mingle, second. Bobby?
Mark Barker.
Yes.
Bush Reed.
Yes.
Kyle Osborne.
Yes.
Jamie Knight.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Tommy Neal.
Yes.
David Kenyon.
Yes.
Bob State.
Yes.
All four.
Okay, revisit the grant writing for the ambulance center. That is completely so I can be updated and everything on it, but I also need to remark about it. Now, I think this grant is going to be, we won't even get this grant until next year.
We'll know in fall whether we've been approved.
And then it comes in January.
That's right, you weren't here. What it is, Bob, it's called a Community Development Block Grant, and it's for $300,000 to build a new ambulance service. And I've got the prints down there. We can build one cheaper, but it would just barely meet our needs today. The one the engineer drawn up was, it will last a good 30 years, I think, and he thought so. It's very nice, and and his estimated cost is $565,000. Now, hopefully it'll come in 500. I don't know. Well, the grant will cover 3, we'll cover 265. I didn't ask the commission to even take it out of debt. It really, it ought to have been paid for out of debt service, because that's what debt service is for. It's a capital projects pot of money over here, like the fire, fire trucks was 130, ambulance 75, police cars 150, 300
right.
something thousand there. Didn't require a property increase because we had a good fund balance in debt service. So really, this ought to come out of debt service. But the reason I didn't ask for that, our revenue is up 100 and something $1,000. Ricky, help. Our revenue is up $25,000 to $30,000 a month. Am I right?
A year.
That's
your revenue coming in.
Do you, correct me if I'm wrong on it, due to this new company doing our billing and our collecting. So Ricky and I sat down, put a pencil to it. If you'll remember, I asked them to let, we may not be funded, but if it's funded, borrow it for 10 years, and that'd be roughly $25,000, $30,000 a year payment, and we'll pay for it out of the ambulance service budget simply because they're in a totally separate budget now.
Okay, yeah, I think it also, you had in there that it also said that we're going to bring the 911 equipment up there. Where is this ambulance going to be?
No, I said that would free, well, that I can't tell you. I hope it's on the hospital property. I'm working with them now. They're considering donating us an acre, 2 acres, whatever. But now I can't tell you that.
You did say that would be a good place to put it.
Now, here's what
you would love to see.
Here's what I said I want to do. By the time this is finished, I may not be in office. I don't know, but here's what I want to do. That will free up where Ricky's at now. We can move UCHRA downstairs to where Ricky is now, which would be ADA accessible, which we're just barely getting by and probably won't for long. Then the upstairs could be used for each county office in the courthouse for storage. Since it's not ADA accessible, we could assign certain areas for the county executive's office, trustee, whatever, and that would help us with a storage issue. Then we could take the garages outside, and what I want to do is move emergency management to Woodbury and put in the garages. That's what I had in mind. Of course, that could be changed, but that's what I will do if I'm in office.
Well, I was hoping that it would be in the central
now that won't have anything.
It needs to be.
I want to make clear that won't have anything to do with this new building. Far as it won't be located at the new building, it'll be located where Ricky is now in that double garage.
As far as freeing up.
That's what I want to do with it.
All right. One of the things that I did, and Mike, it was your prerogative, and you talked with the commission to be able to get this grant writing approval with this private company. One thing I need y'all to know is that this private company that is going to be doing it is the one woman that was in the middle of a lot of controversy up there with the UCDD, Amanda.
No, Bob, you got her mixed up with somebody. I don't. She quit UCDD in April of.
Right.
She resigned in April of 2011 to go in business for herself. She has written our grants, waterline grants, since 2005, and she writes grants for 10 other cities and counties. And no, she wasn't in any controversy. She made $32,000. That was the only controversy she had. And she
Maynard, okay.
Amanda Maynard. She hadn't been gone a year yet, and she's already made 5 times what she made.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that she had done that up at Fentress County, and the ambulance service got there to send it. Yeah. I mean, it was good. I'm not anything against that. I'm not against Miss Maynard. I just wanted everyone to know ahead of time that I feel that she was in the middle of this controversy up there with some people, and now she's going to be down here doing it with us. And I just wanted us to look at what repercussions there could be if things follow. For example, Mike,
yeah.
At the same time that she's been talked about up there, you've been talked about up there.
Oh, I've been talked about up there a whole lot.
Well, you understand that I don't want it to come I don't want it to become a Cannon County headache problem.
I've been talked about ever since I applied for that job up there, which I didn't want to start with, so.
Well, this is what I'm
She wasn't
saying.
involved in any of that, other than, I don't know where you.
Well, no, I read the newspaper article where this guy that took over as interim.
Randy Williams?
No, Willmouth or what is? Anyway, he quit as the director because you had brought this Maynard back in.
No,
You
no.
hired her back?
I tell you what you're talking about. No, I didn't bring her in. You're talking about Earl Carwile.
Carwile.
And, no, he didn't quit. We run him off. And the reason we did, that's why she left. He gave $5,000 and $6,000 raises. A lot of people gave her $1,000. Well, she was bringing in all the money.
Okay. Well, this is why I'm talking. I was talking anyway. This is why
I was talking about something that I thought was important. And
I know, but this. I'm looking at our reputation.
I don't mean to be ugly, but and I understand where you're coming from.
I'm looking at our reputation. That's the only thing.
But we have already voted for
and I'm not
that lady to get us a grant.
I wasn't against it.
And we've done all that. And
is it all right if I just explain why?
We really just need to go on.
Each county mayor and city mayor has to choose who they want, and the way most of them do, they pick a person that's had the most experience in that particular thing, and she's had a lot of experience in that. And
whether she's crooked or not, as long as she gets us the $300 grand.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I don't want to lose that ambulance center either.
Me either. And I don't want. I don't want to be on the news because we've hired somebody that's a crook. But you and I won't be. Mike will be standing there beside of her, not us.
She wasn't.
He's hiring her.
Didn't know that other.
That's right. I mean, he's the one who hired her. He'll be there with her.
Another question. In the budget last year, Kevin, you was on the budget committee. Did we give money to Upper Cumberland for grant writing and stuff like that?
It's a fee every year that we give. It's $2,900, something like that.
That's not for grant writing.
No.
That's I can't hardly talk. I apologize. Upper Cumberland Development District. Are you familiar with Hilltop Manor?
Yeah.
They own that. They maintain that. Aging, where they let me think here. Relative caregiver. It's where grandparents, uncles, and aunts are raising children that their parents are in the penitentiary or dead or whatever. They give help with that. They CAIC with industrial.
Yeah, here it is right here.
Yeah.
It's all here. It shows that we get $140,000 a year from Upper
Case
Cumberland.
managers for the elderly, the senior center, all that. Let me explain how this girl makes her money. Every grant has an administrative fee.
Which is 21 cents. For each population, each person in population.
That's based on the population, the fees are. We gotta pay that whether they write a grant or not. Faye Leonard hasn't worked for UCDD in 20 years, but she's written every grant for Woodbury, and they pay fees. All right, if I'm an independent and you're UCDD, and I write this grant, or you write a grant for Kevin here, you can charge up to a certain percent. Don't matter about the fees, UCDD would still get that certain percent out of that grant. So Amanda will get this certain percent out as an independent. She told me the other day, it's $18,000 on this particular one, but she's got to see it all the way through. The Davis-Bacon Act, I believe is what it's called, or all that stuff. She has to keep all that. And she is only charging us $15, so she could have actually charged $18. So it really, the fees that we pay UCDD and the administrative fees for the grants are that's apples and oranges. They don't have a thing to do. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, on the, I'm looking out for any kind of trouble, that's all. The one thing that we didn't, you got something in your packet here that was given from the county executive's office, was given by Diane. It's on the records management for county governments. And this is just, they're going to be retaining. They only have to retain now, evidently, records at 5 years or less, and they need to be able to get rid of some. So this is what it is. When you saw that,
disregard everything in this except that right there. That's all we're asking. We want your permission to destroy records.
Right. It's on 03-001.
Paid bill records, not grant records, not police records, just paid bill records. We've got them running out our ears. And Ben Rogers says that if y'all give us permission, we can destroy them after 5 years. That's what
The
we're
records that we'd paid our bill back then.
Pardon?
The records that we had paid our bills,
We got to keep them up 5 years. We can destroy everything after, but I got to have your permission.
so
to do it.
somebody that had claim, they couldn't come back and claim, well, county owes me money. And
Not
you
after
didn't pay
5.
it. That's right.
But the state says it's.
Gotta keep 5 years.
After 5 years, if y'all give me the,
Is there a statute of limitations on there? Or?
not that I'm aware of.
You know, I have so much trouble destroying anything, Teresa will tell you. You know, I keep so much paperwork and stuff that I you know, it's gonna cause my house to catch on fire. But, do we wanna get rid of stuff only 5 years old?
Well, yeah, we do. We need to get rid of that because we don't need to keep it because we've already paid that bill. See, it's like keeping your receipt from McDonald's up here that you had 5 years ago, and then that's sort of what it is like. It's not the other type of records, it's these records that we've
already just paid bills, like.
That's right, yeah.
It'll be like electric bills, gas bills.
That's right, and we've already paid it, and they know we've paid it, and they're not never gonna come back, so we just shred them.
Okay, well, anybody else?
No, I think we should need to keep the records.
Well, the state says we need to keep them 5 years.
They gave an opinion that we could. They didn't say we had to.
State's just like them auditors, it don't matter what they say.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could I speak to that?
If you got some expertise on it.
I'm just concerned that some of this information that you might need later, or that we might need later, might be destroyed. So I know where you're coming from.
I think that's what Commissioner Bush and myself were a little bit concerned about.
It ain't like McDonald's.
Well, they tell me I gotta keep mine 7.
7. That's what I've always heard.
Well, some of these right here, you gotta keep them 25. Look at the next
Well,
thing.
that's just my daily bookkeeping.
This one right here, the next 100, you gotta keep them for 25 years.
I say we keep them.
That's all the audit.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah.
So this is a motion to not allow the county mayor to get rid of.
I think you have to have a motion to not allow. I think you have to have a motion to do it.
To do it first and then see if it
If you don't
fails.
get one, it don't happen.
Okay. You're right. Thank you.
Sorry.
Do I have a motion to destroy these, to allow the county mayor to destroy the paid bills that are over 5 years?
I'll tell you what, let me withdraw that because if there's nothing in there over 5 years other than a water bill or something like that, and every county does it, but I can just see now 2 or 3 going out and telling what he got the permission to let him destroy a lot of evidence or something. You just withdraw it and let it go. That'll be the first thing on the county cooler tomorrow. He got permission to.
He's gone, thinking. There you go.
I mean, Tommy, that's what I'm saying.
All right. Is there any other business? That failed, by the way. Huh?
You got one I gave you.
That one you gave me?
Yep.
I withdraw.
On the interlocal agreement.
Interlocal agreement. That we talked about last meeting, and we said we'd bring it up this meeting. About the insurance on the fire truck. He's done gone.
You weren't here, Bob. What happened is Roger told me that the fire department over there was having difficulties. Dutton's is not bringing in the money it used to bring in. And he told me tonight that he went back 20 years and they'd had 2 fires they responded to inside the city limits of Auburn. So every other fire they've responded to has been in the county. They're paying $7,000 a year in insurance for 2 vehicles. And we can put them under our blanket thing for about $1,000 a year, maybe a little less, but Travis estimated $1,000 a year. Right now, the county's giving them $4,000 a year to help them pay for their insurance. I'm proposing to you, this is why Mike Corley said do it, to get interlocal agreement. They would be signing their they would be signing.
They're going to sign the
title over to us for the 2 trucks. For the 2 trucks, they're going to sign their title over to us, and then we're going to put them on our blanket plan. That'll save us $3,000 a year, and it'll save Auburn Town $3,000 a year. But we got to pass this interlocal. I believe 3 years. I think what I believe that's.
At the end of the 3 years, who owns the trucks?
They'll go back to Auburn Town at the end of 3 years. And Auburn Town has control of the trucks now during this. I mean, but they're not giving up control. We're just doing it to save money on the insurance. We'll have the same insurance, $6,000 less than.
Where'd the $7,000 for insurance number come from?
That's what they were paying. When
That's what they were paying.
Agreed, they were probably getting ripped off on it.
I saw an audit that just showed it was $2,400 or $2,700 is what they paid in
Auburn Town
vehicle insurance.
The budget committee recommended paying. I mean,
I'll bring it next meeting.
I don't know about
if this
that,
don't
Kevin.
pass. I'll bring it next meeting.
But in short, if we pass this will save $3,000 for the county and $3,000 for the city of Auburn.
Unless they were only paying $2,700.
I mean, the Auburn Fire Department, not the city of Auburn.
They may have been, but the county was paying extra too. They were paying $4,000.
It was the total.
We got the 2 commissioners here from Auburn Town, and we certainly take your recommendation on those.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we pass it.
Second.
I got a question before we do that. If we do this, Mike, is that gonna make us responsible for the repairs of the truck?
No, it should be in the lease agreement that they're still looking there.
It was in the original one that we got that was on there.
Yeah. They'll be responsible. I don't have a copy of it. See, we had it last time, but
Bob got one right there.
they're responsible for the maintenance.
Okay.
The fire board and county's not gonna be responsible for anything that's not already. It should be in there.
If they total out a vehicle, we gotta pay for it.
No, the insurance pays.
Insurance.
Well, our insurance pays in.
Yes, our insurance pays for it.
It says here, following the transfer of the title, the vehicles will be housed at the city fire hall to be staffed, maintained, and operated by the city at city expense. All we're gonna do is maintain the insurance.
Right, which we do for a lot of different fire companies anyway, so. All right.
Okay, now, in lieu of this, now, when they come to us for money, are we gonna still give them the amount of money?
Over $1,000?
Donation.
No, that was just for the insurance, is what that was for.
That's what the county was helping them with every day.
That's what I'm asking. I
The
said,
budget
they're gonna
committee,
come back.
we need to take that out of the budget because that's where we're gonna save.
All right.
No.
That's all I needed to know.
That's where we're gonna save the $3,000.
Well, why don't we split it? We pay 5 and they pay 5.
Pay 5.
Half the premium.
I thought the premium was $2,000.
No, the premium was
They estimated that on the
$1,000.
county, and it'd be 1,000.
So, I mean,
Got a motion and a second.
And what
Yeah.
if the
Well, I
city,
mean-
and what if the city decides, hey, we don't want to pay insurance on our trucks? We'll sign them over to the county.
Well, we'd have to
Keep in
pass
mind
it.
how many county fires they have. That's all I'm saying.
Hardbarker,
No, we got a motion.
Hardbarker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Tom Allenberg,
Yes.
Jim Mangle.
Yes.
Jim Wood.
yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Mooney.
Yeah.
Bob Pettit.
Yes. David,
Hey, Bob, I got one more thing I gotta do.
this is in, We're down to, what's it gonna be, because we're down to other business, Mike.
It's gotta come under other business.
Okay, it doesn't do anything with money, right?
No, I
Okay.
just gotta give you this report. If you remember, a year or so ago, they changed the law, as every one of you know, that from the time the budget's passed till the money starts coming in, we don't have enough money. That's why a fund balance is, a healthy fund balance is so important. I'm scared we're getting theirs too low, but now, when we do, it's called tax anticipation loans. We borrow 100, 200 to keep solid waste going. We borrow, last year I didn't borrow but either 2 or 3 for county general. I had to borrow 5 this time. So that tells me the fund balance is getting too low because we run out of money. Huh?
No, it ain't.
We run out of money awful quick. Well, one of your audit findings is because your fund balance wasn't big enough to cover your changes.
Cover my what?
To cover the
what?
the budget amendments.
It wasn't big enough to cover the budget amendments.
Right.
Is it because the fund balance is too low, or we got too many budget amendments?
No.
The budget amendments too big.
Auditor said you fund
Live
balance-
inside the budget, and you don't have to worry about that.
If you're operating on the credit for 3 to 5 months, you got to have some savings there, or either you got to go to the bank and borrow it. So what we're
There's
doing,
$172,000 more when we started this budget year than what the estimate was.
well, that's a different argument.
So to stand there and say that the budget, that our county general fund balance
Your county
is getting
general-
lower, it was not lower when we started. There was $172,400
Your
some odd
county
dollars.
general budget fund balance at the end of this year would have been, now, the ambulance has brought in a lot more money than we anticipated.
The ambulance is not in the county general.
Well, but you're funding it as all part of it. Now, listen to me. Wait a minute, let me finish. You're not going to have enough money to operate at this year's expenses with the fund balance that you'll have left over.
I thought it was showing us we had,
By this, we've got gobs of money.
yeah.
The year
something
ain't
We just keep having more money.
The money,
600 something.
The last 3 budget years, Mike, we've had more money at the end of it than you've told us we've had.
You've had a little more money, but you look how much you've gone down. You've gone from 800,000, now you're going to probably in this year.
If we believed you, we'd have been broke 3 years ago, and we ain't yet.
You're increasing spending. Now, wait a minute.
It's right there. These ain't my numbers.
Wait a minute.
And I know that auditor don't mean nothing to you, but he means a lot to me.
Have you spent a lot? What do you mean don't mean anything? I got to live by it.
You've said that a million times, that audit is just a suggestion. It don't really mean nothing.
Audit, I have never said that audit don't mean anything. We have to go with auditors.
Oh, man.
I don't know where you guys are getting your information, but my point is, if you've got $100,000, if
you want to say it?
You don't even know how to read it, probably. I don't know how to read it all.
Well, that's just,
one of the people
well,
that didn't know how to read this.
No, it states on here that you don't know how to, that you don't know nothing about it.
And you don't either, because
it says
when
right here
at the end of the year, you're not going to have enough money to operate next year's expenses.
The office had deficiencies in budget operations.
Who?
It's your office.
Sure they did. Part of it, I just got through telling you my office didn't have, but there was 2 findings that I was just half involved in.
I just don't want you standing up there saying that the budget committee last year is breaking his county.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you come out with. There's money there.
There's
more money there than you need.
There is not
if you
money
just
there.
Learn to live without a little.
There is not. Me live without. You approve the
budget amendments.
I can't spend it if you don't approve.
I know that, but you keep laying them down here.
No, I don't. We only spend what you approve.
Okay.
I don't approve the spending.
I know you don't.
All right. This is money when we were out of money, and you get out of money between July 1 till the money starts coming in. I mean, it's routine. It happens every year. But I have to report it to you and give you a copy. Cynthia has to put it in the minutes. One of them is for solid waste, and one of them is for county general. Yeah, there's 2 things. And let's see, that one is the general fund. And this one is solid waste. Now, all the time before, if you borrow a revenue anticipation loan from debt service, that's where that comes from, because we got a good fund balance in debt service. If you borrow it from debt service, it has to be paid back by June the 30th. Or the state will probably won't let you borrow next year. So up until now, and including this year, we've always managed to get it paid back prior to June 30th. Now, we borrowed, I believe it's $500,000 and $200,000. And you guys voted to put REACH in its own category, so we had to put $20,000 over there.
And they have to pay back.
We've already paid the $500,000 back from the revenues that came in. We've already paid the $200,000, I think, for solid waste, and we've paid the $20,000 for REACH. So we're good for another year. All of these are paid back to debt service, is what I'm trying to say. But you don't vote on it. I just have to make you aware of it.
Any other business?
Yeah. You know, gentlemen, I was talking to y'all about an insurance situation with this Obamacare. And, you know, some people were concerned about it, some wasn't concerned. If you've been keeping up with the Daily News Journal, they're looking at hikes of $2.6 million in insurance because of the mandates, because of the insurance. Okay? This is real. This is real. And what I'd like to do for us to get the insurance committee involved in this and to look at the different avenues that we can go with this. The state has an insurance program which has better coverage, which we don't have to worry about the mandate because they're already set up for it. But I would like to forget the insurance because budget time's coming up, and I'd like to get the insurance committee involved and dig into this and see what's going to be our best option.
I had heard the governor say that he told them no, something like that. We were going to go with our own. Is that what it says there? That the state...
For right now, he's still on the fence.
Still on the fence. Well, I know it's going to affect everybody. Does anybody understand it? Because I don't. I'll just tell you flat out, I don't understand.
They didn't understand it when they voted.
Well, it's just like, who was it said that we got to read it to find out? We got to vote on it to find out
San
what it
Fran
says?
So I'd like to make that recommendation, we do that and get them involved. And
Oh, let me see who's on the insurance board, you know?
Russell had it.
Give me a minute.
Todd and Kevin, ain't that right?
I know I ain't.
Let's see here. What are you looking for, insurance?
Insurance committee.
Mr. Hollingsworth, Mr. George, Mr. Wilson, Todd, Kevin, and Mitch.
No, I won't be on it no more.
Y'all three. Well, that's a good people to be on it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll let you talk me into that.
And I won't sit there and really ask the question if y'all understand it enough to be able to figure it out for us, but...
If they understand it, we need to send them to Washington.
We understand it as much as the ones that passed.
Amen, brother.
I got two things.
You got two things, the other business?
To save $100.
He wants, Jim wants a recommendation. I mean, Jim has made a recommendation, and I think we should act on it. He's made a motion for the insurance committee to...
Make a motion?
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, I made a motion.
For our insurance, which we have right here, the insurance committee.
Let's see what y'all...
We'll have to check with Mitch and find a date, but by next month, we'll come up
What all
with a date.
committees is Jimmy on?
Is that acceptable by our next meeting?
I mean, that's fine. I mean, you know, it's, cause like I said, we got to know what we're dealing with before we go into budget time.
Well, this is not going to cost us any money. We don't have to make any kind of motion, do we?
No.
No.
We just need to
If they'll just...
Because it won't cost any money. It's not costing money, so we can make a motion.
Oh,
In other business, that's correct.
okay, yeah. Jim, we got a motion from Jim. Do you understand what it is, Cynthia? Okay.
To have the insurance committee.
It's to have the insurance committee
to meet and see what our best avenue is to go as far as being compliant with this Obamacare, and see which is our best avenue to go with it.
With the state or with the Obamacare?
Or leave it like we got it.
We got no choice. We gotta offer a plan.
Right.
Yeah. See, Jim's right there, but we offer a plan. Now, here's the problem, if the plan isn't up to the government standards, and they go and get another one, then we, let's say Kevin works for the county, and he goes and gets another state-run plan, and we pay a penalty into that pot of money. I would advise you to have your insurance meeting, have your insurance committee meet and get Mr. Molitor up here that has our health insurance, because he's just a local agent, that's all. And let them, and Blue Cross supposedly is gonna keep us within the law. But that's all I can tell you. That thing.
We need to get three, at least three insurance agents, not just one.
Got a letter from letter from them today.
Did you?
Said we may or may not be compliant in
You need to have Ben come
2017.
too.
Talking about the county?
Ben,
Rogers.
Me.
who's he?
People that carry Blue Cross.
He's our new seat desk.
Mr. Molitor told me that Blue Cross told him, we don't know it all. I mean,
They
it's
can't.
still a working process.
Well, like I said, with budget time coming up, we're gonna have a vote.
We'll be starting budget next,
You got a good idea, because we
April.
need to know something before budget time. You're right.
April 1st, we're starting. You got a second on it?
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Those opposed?
Third.
What? Anybody else on other business?
I got two things.
Young man, back on.
Come on forward.
Don't let you know who I am, Ralph Harvey, Short Mountain Market.
Short Mountain Market, okay.
I've been jerked around going to the beer board all the time. Can you read that right there? It's in their rule book, page 13.
Distance rules. County legislative bodies do have certain statutory powers concerning the regulation of the sale of beer in the county, which are not shared by the county beer board and cannot be delegated to the board. Only the county legislative body can adopt a resolution to extend the hours for selling beer in the county, and only the county legislative body can adopt distance resolutions, like the 2,000-foot rule and the 300-foot rule, TCA 57-5-105. And you got Attorney General's opinion 82-325 in 1982.
So that means the beer board ain't doing me no justice, right?
Well, I think that would you say that this is, that we can almost countermand the beer board? Is that what it's saying?
Well, I
right
mean,
here?
it's saying that we have the final say,
We have the final say.
and we can vote on it. And that don't have to do with money, so we can vote on it right now, can't we?
Now, hold on a second. When construing that the statutes governing distance rules, it is generally the policy of the courts to construe the statutory provisions liberally in favor of the regulations and the places or institutions they are
I
designed
think
to
the other side will
protect.
have it say right here.
Well, this is under other business, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have done.
Right, but wouldn't it have to be presented in the newspaper for the voters and other people that live in Canyon County?
Don't
to
say
know?
that there, does it?
Oh, no, no.
Don't say that there.
No, it's, I don't.
Well, this is just part of it. You got the whole rule book. You don't want to tell me the whole rule book.
Well,
I had to
I'll
find
tell you what,
this
we'll just
out.
go ahead and we'll have our meeting Saturday.
Well, that meeting there is your meeting. That ain't,
Right.
don't say Short Mountain
He's
Market on
he's
there.
looking to us,
Right.
the county commission.
Fine.
Well, what I'm saying, who am I supposed to go to?
Well, it looks like you brought the rules that said that you could come
Well,
to
this
us.
is part of the rules.
Right, no, I'm agreeing with
And
you.
I've been going to them. They ain't brought that up.
It's about. I make a motion that we don't change the distance.
I mean, I've been going to the beer board. They haven't brought that up. I mean, now, who's telling the truth?
I second the motion.
Who, before we go on with that, but, how much difference is it gonna make in what you do? How much do you estimate any kind of beer tax is gonna be, or,
How much more?
how much money is gonna bring to you? How much money is gonna bring to
I
you?
believe it'll bring in more deli, drinks, more gas, everything else. Not this beer.
Now, we've already heard from the Church of God down there, right? Which was all completely against it, and we voted.
What did the beer board say?
No.
Well, if it's good enough for the city, why ain't it good enough for the county? The city can make the money. Why can't the county make revenue?
We have to.
This is the same.
I mean, it's the same thing.
It says right
The
there.
taxpayers in the city
All right,
who
now, hold
own
on, hold on.
property.
We can't do it by yelling over and,
Well,
There's a
I'm
motion
for
on the
you having
floor.
your say.
Motion's on the
But
floor.
right here, it says that we should, let's see, the statutory provisions liberally in favor of the regulations and places or institutions they are designed to protect. We have to take the fact is that the Church of God is closer than what the rules and regulations for, and that the Church of God is a worship place, and they've already made their qualms to us.
Yeah, and I know all these churches here in town. I know, hey, they said the same thing as what they did. I know they did. And the thing about it is, the people in the town that owns property pays county property tax too. So they should be aware about any changes in the county.
Well,
Two different governments. It's two different governments, sir.
yeah.
It's two complete different governments. One's a city government, one's a county.
When you pay, when I got a piece of property right down here, you know I get a city tax and I get a county tax. Now you tell me which one is different.
If you live in the city is the one that has the authority over your property.
But I pay city and county.
You're right.
So the people that live in the county
They just pay
should
county.
have something to say about this too, because if you raise the county property tax,
That's why
you're
they
raising
elected
their
this body,
property
so
tax.
that's why they elected us.
And that's why that gives us the authority to change that distance.
Right, so these people that live in the city
And we've got a motion on the
ought to
floor.
be able to know.
We're fixing to make a decision on that right now.
And
you won't have to go to
notify the people in
You
the
won't have to go to
county.
more.
I mean, y'all been telling me I gotta go through the beer board.
Do we have to notify the
Hey,
people in the
I
county?
got paper right here.
Not to not change anything.
That's right.
You know, I know y'all might want to take care of it
Right
tonight,
here.
but I
That
think
was
it's
last-
being strung
last month.
on us like this.
I'll tell you what, Dave.
Doesn't mean.
Put it on the agenda.
For
Make
next-
sure it's published in the paper for the
Right.
next meeting that we're gonna vote on changing the distance on them between the churches and the beer sales. And,
We're gonna vote again.
yeah, we're gonna vote again.
Well, how many times are we gonna have to vote on
You know, it says I can come every 90 days.
Okay, all right, okay.
So,
Oh, okay.
every 90 days,
That's it.
Be
You
expecting it.
you said that it gives us the right to, or the right not to, because that's who our.
No,
we're the
I
commission.
We've got a motion on the floor.
Oh, yeah, it says that we have the right
Unless you
not
want
to.
to withdraw it.
That's us, right here.
but I was referred to this. This meeting never even got put in the newspaper. This got put in the newspaper. This don't have nothing to do
Only if you're
with
gonna
that.
change it.
Okay. We're gonna be getting, well, it will be
I mean,
published.
but why didn't
What's
this
your-
get filed?
Mr. Harvey, is that your name?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do that for next month. That way you can get your people together, we'll get it in the paper, it'll be on the agenda that we're going to vote, and it's going to be specifically, they're going to know that it's going to be in your, store and the church that's involved. Okay? That's the fairest way to do it, because I guarantee you, if you vote it tonight, it's absolutely going to be no.
Right.
So let's
Now, in this rule book, does it say you got to live in this county to be against it?
You're talking about the people that are right over the Warren County line and go to this church. It's the churches in this county.
Well, the church is in this county, but them people that go to that church, if anything they voted on there, they can't vote in this county to help that community.
I don't see that that's right.
Well, the property.
They don't get a vote.
The property owners up there in the Sharp Mountain District, they will talk to their commissioners, I assure you.
Right.
They did last time.
They did.
So
last-
anyway,
Yeah, overwhelming.
that's, I think that's the fairest way for you.
Some of your property
I
owners
deal
talk
with
to
it, but I'm just trying to get the facts. I
Some of
mean,
them talk to me.
I understand.
I hear this and I read this and
Yeah. Well,
You just
I
come
say, we're
back
the
next
final
month
say-
and we'll
we're the final
vote.
say on it, see? The beer board's there, and then you've invoked where we're the final say. So we're gonna give you the final say next week, next month, be it yay or nay.
Because, I mean, this one right here was never posted in the newspaper.
Okay, we're gonna post it.
Now, we post this, and it just says a beer board, talk about distant rules.
Right, I agree, they should have said something like that.
I mean, so this, I
For
mean.
what area it is, that would bring in more people, that could be pro.
I mean, what is that, what
Make a
is
note,
that?
Bob, take care of that. We're gonna take care of it next month.
Yep.
I mean,
We can't,
that-
I don't wanna stay here all night. If you keep standing there, we're gonna vote, we're just gonna vote no
No,
again.
no, I just want to get
Okay.
clear. I
And all
mean,
you're gonna do is- all
I
you're gonna do is
read this,
aggravate
and
us.
then I was told this.
You're just gonna aggravate
And then
us.
I get this, and then I get this.
Okay. We'll take care of it.
You gonna withdraw your motion?
I'm withdrawing my motion
Withdraw
for
your
next
motion.
month. And we'll see how many people fit in here next month.
See how many people want to adjourn.
No, I got two things.
Wait a minute.
I've had two things on
Well, I know, but I thought they already said two things.
No.
So it's you that's got two
Here's two
things.
things.
All right.
Okay.
I found this up here, me and Cynthia found it today. When we did the $40 increase on the wheel tax sticker back in '99,
Which made it $50.
made it $50. All right. There is a separate resolution that was done at the same time that, and it says in here to omit Section 8 from, what do you call it?
Resolution.
From the
From the
resolution.
Private Act. This is the Private Act. From the Private Act. And Section 8 is the section that tells us that we have to stop taking out that tax once the debt is paid off.
Debt is paid off.
After 25 years is what the debt was set for. So but this takes that out. In other words, as of right now, there is no sunset on that tax, on that $40 wheel tax. I talked to 4 new commissioners that all voted yes on this resolution
In '99.
in '99. A couple of these guys, 2 or 3 of these people have already passed. They didn't. This is not what they intended. Okay, every one of them thought that it was sunsetting at the end of when it was paid off. Mark, Joe
But it was
Young.
supposed to the first time.
That's right. So here's what we think. This is what I think. There's no ways in this. I think that however this is something it was said and understood, and no matter what happened, legally it's saying that there is no sunset. So Mike is going to talk to the attorney and make sure that, because we're just assuming that this is a misunderstanding or a typo or however you want to say it, and then we can do a vote next month and fix this back like they intended it to be.
And that's to let it sunset.
Make sure it sunsets. The reason, in the Private Act, it states that it will sunset. And from what I got from Mr. Fan today and Joe Young was that they did this on purpose. They purposely did this to ensure that it would sunset.
Right.
This is their way of saying, I ain't kidding, I want it to sunset. And it got wrote up to.
That's what we thought the first time.
I think it's just wording, and there's no fault in it.
Right.
I had somebody call me and left a message on my phone and told me that they saw this in the books or something, or somebody told them about it or something. Anyway, so I went and looked today, or Cynthia looked today. She found it for me. But so, and I ain't like I said, there's no fault in this, but I think we need to fix it so that at the end of this 25 years, and all of us are gone and don't remember what happened and.
I'd say, just say don't remember what happened. We like to stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah, when we're all
older.
We could be moved away, Bob, when I say gone.
What year is it supposed to end?
Let's see, well, they did it in '99, and it's 25 years.
25 years.
2024.
Right. We just need to fix it so that.
Is that another 11 years?
So it does, because Cynthia and Bobby may not be in there.
11 years from now.
By then, they may not be in there, and they may need to know that they're supposed to take that off, and there'll be something there. So anyway, that was one thing. And Mike said you gonna talk to.
You know,
You've been thinking.
I was on the commission, 2 or 3 dead, but everyone I've talked to.
Oh, you voted for it too? I said, you just want, everybody voted for it, everybody on it.
And when you asked me earlier, I had forgotten till you said what you said right then. If I'm not mistaken, Jimmy Fan or Joe Young one made the statement they wanted it on record just in case it got confused down there. Because Jimmy,
Joe Young made them.
I remember that now, but now the $10 is not.
Right, the 10 doesn't, but the 40 does.
Is, and it was meant to be from day one, and that's what the resolution was passed by the people.
Just make sure that we got whatever we gotta have so we can fix it next month.
Corey may say that the resolution overrides that, and just don't worry about it.
Make another one that's equal to it.
How much money does that bring in, Bob?
We sell about,
What was that money earmarked for?
It was schools.
Schools, wasn't it?
Just for the addition on the high school and the addition on the, well, it was actually Woodbury Grammar and the addition on the grammar.
Woodbury
school.
Grammar.
33,000
13,000.
a month.
No, a year.
No, 13,000 a year.
A month.
Yeah.
What do you think I am?
We're talking about the $40 on the wheel tax sticker, right?
$13,000.
We're talking about,
Yeah.
we sell 13,000.
13,000 tags.
13,000.
Times 4.
Okay, we were talking, I was talking money.
That's 520,000 a year.
No, I was talking
If my math is correct.
not tax.
Over $500,000.
Thank you.
Yes, 520.
$40 went to enlarge all the grammar schools. The 10 went to build the high school.
Right. That 40, didn't it build the grammar school and add on to all them grammar schools?
And I guarantee you in 11 years, we'll be needing it again.
And we may be,
You may want to.
We have to correct it though.
I just want to fix it.
We won't be here.
The other thing I got is I've been asking about
My kids, they're registered.
the gas cards or fuel cards. So I got Diane to print from me a copy of the last 3 months on it, and it really has helped me understand where fuel goes. And any of y'all that wants to take them and look at them, take them and look at them. I only got one little issue with them. There's a lot of signatures in here that you can't read, and some of them don't have aren't with a assigned card number. So that makes it where I can't.
There's a number you're supposed to go by too.
Right, and most of them use a card. There's some of them that don't have a card or don't use a card. They just sign.
They're all supposed to be using cards.
Well, we'll talk about who doesn't afterwards, and you can deal with that. But if I guess what I'm wondering, can we make a motion and say that if that signature ain't legible, we don't pay that part of that bill?
But it's not a signature. I can't read my own signature. They either need to print it then sign it.
That's what we need to ask the co-op to make sure that's legible, because the whole purpose of doing this is so that we can know who's buying gas.
And use a card.
I want to say one thing. I don't know if that's saving any money or not, because gas went down, you know. Everybody's gas budgets are within budget. It looks like they're going to finish the year within budget. The way we look at it.
I think
it's a lot easier on us.
Mhm.
We get a bill. I don't have to order gas. I can look at it, and if Mike Underhill calls, says how many short guys got gas.
No, they don't sign it.
We don't sign it.
I like.
Y'all got a card though.
Yeah, each
If you're
truck's
going
got
to do this signature,
And y'all's bill is separate than ours.
they need to print it, then sign their regular
Yeah.
signature, because here's why. If they start dabbling with their signature, I can do that, and you won't, still won't.
That's my point.
Print it, then sign it. Yeah, we'll do that.
Make sure, because that's the whole purpose of doing this, is to know who's doing what. And
It's been requested that when they get gas, that they sign, print, and they have to show an ID. Some of the workers do not follow.
well, he said that they've asked them to show an ID and print and sign.
They're supposed to if they don't know. If that clerk knows that you're who your card says you are, I mean, if they don't know, they're supposed to ask for ID.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, that's like going to market and buy beer. I mean, even though you know, hey.
Are they doing that?
Not completely.
Some of them watch.
I think some of them
I mean, you look 100-year-old.
Yeah, she's got them down there. We look at them. But anyway, another thing that I'm going to ask Mike to do, Michael Underhill, is ask them. I don't know how much trouble it is to do a run report. But when them guys are using them vehicles, if we had a run report, and then if there's any question about why they were getting fuel, any question about why that guy was getting fuel on that car, then you've got a run report to lay back down in front of me and say, this is what he was doing. I know my Michael's been doing that.
No, we do that.
And so, like at your next meeting or whatever, ask them to do that, and that'll cover, that doesn't just let me know who's doing what as a commissioner, but it covers your tail too. If you're out there and you get $85 worth of diesel, and somebody says, oh, he's put that in his pickup truck, you can say, no, I didn't, this is where I was at and what I was doing with what. And I think that is a good idea for all. I don't think Darrell Fisher, from what I'm looking at him, there's no way he can do a run report because he's getting gas every few minutes.
Darrell don't buy the 30 at a time.
I know it, but it's every 3 or 4 days. You know, and
Say something. I don't know how Kevin does his, but all of my guys go to their badge number.
right.
They don't go by card.
We've got a card number. They've got a card number assigned to each person.
Exactly.
And like the fire department's
The
assigned.
last 3 numbers on my gas receipt, is that officer's number?
Right.
The corrections don't have gas cards, only officers, a maintenance guy, and the jail inspector. And the 2 transport officers, they have one of those. God knows when they were.
Right.
But that number is how I keep up who's doing what, and I keep a sheet that I tally at the end of the month. I go back and check each receipt I get with what the co-op sends me.
Right.
And that's how I check mine off each month.
If Darrell would deputize all county employees, they'll have a badge number.
Well, your fire department knows the number.
And the fire departments are taking, what they're doing, they're taking a card and they're putting it on the key ring on that truck. So when you take that truck, you take the card and you get your gas.
The truck is almost in every
Right.
truck. Every truck has got a card in it.
Yeah.
But is that card the truck number?
There's more.
No,
Hang on.
there's a certain number that come up.
I think Bob's got some on it.
Yeah, that card number is registered to that truck.
Can we get
Right,
a run on
right.
them too?
I just do your, if you do a run report, even if you can find something real simple to say this is, because like that Jeep that was donated to Michael and them, he lets everybody use that thing to go here and do that and all that. And it looks like he's just driving it around.
And we,
But with the run reports, he showed me last night. With that run report, it shows who was there and what they did. Yeah. And that would clear up
I also made.
a lot of fuel issues.
We had that on, put that on there too.
Yeah.
Each DAR, each ticket, all is. Yeah, we use the film.
It would, there's one on there and you probably, that needs to, doesn't have a card and doesn't have a, and there's nothing about where they are going or nothing.
Burn a lot of fuel not to be.
$300 something worth of diesel in a month and we don't have no idea. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, we sign our receipts, but there's one with each truck.
Right.
But we don't have to sign to get fuel, because we can use the kiosk at 3 in the morning.
At 3 in the morning, correct.
But we still sign them. I guess we need to print 2 of them. It's one of us 12.
Right.
That's fine. I don't think that's what you was after anyway.
My guys don't bring me a receipt.
No, it's on the computer. I mean, it's.
He charges $220 a day, or load going in and back and stuff like that.
That's another question. On the
Garbage truck.
See, I don't know what all that is exactly, so I hate to even ask.
What's your question?
On Mike and them hauling the waste, hauling the garbage.
Yeah.
Do we pay the $220 a load plus his fuel?
No, he buys his own fuel.
Okay.
Well, does he pay you back? Because, I mean, he's down here, Mike Pemberton.
There's a lot of fuel with his name on it.
$253.
That's tires, more like. Or is that just, let's say, speak of it. No, we don't buy his fuel.
Tire disposal fee, that's what that is.
That's tires.
Who's Danny?
Recap tire,
Danny?
$249.99.
Is that one of Mike's drivers?
Tire.
Danny? I don't know Danny.
Works for who?
Anyway,
So, he came out of the co-op.
I really,
itself.
yeah, oh yeah, it tells you everything about
That, that'll be gas, tires, fence
Yeah.
posts, whatever's bought, yeah.
chicken feet.
I got chickens, don't say it.
Now, I'm gonna let somebody that has no other motion to adjourn us.
Wait a minute, I got one more.
Ah, look at that.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask something. Since the commission's gonna decide next month about the short market thing, are y'all still gonna make stuff
Yes.
at the beer board?
Yes.
I was concerned about some people, some older people showing up.
No, we're still gonna meet.
Now I got one.
9 o'clock.
I'm not sure here.
Yeah. On the approval of the minutes, even though we didn't have summary, we still need to approve our minutes, don't we?
Well, you had the minutes, actually, you had the agenda from last time, that's what I included in it.
I got that too.
You can approve what's in.
Yeah, that's what yeah, we still have to approve them though, right?
So we just approved that, even though I said there was no summary of the minutes.
Right. Okay, so I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the last meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? You didn't even know what we're voting on.
I didn't even get a packet.
We were talking.
We were too about something.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second, let's go. We just voted, take it away here.
What do I do about this right here? This, if I understand right.
Well, all I can say is you never going Saturday, because we would have had stuff to
These
do.
ambulance.
Yeah.
Somebody from the sheriff, from the jail over to the hospital. The ambulance service, the ambulance department is charging. They bill the sheriff's department, right? He don't bill.
Now they don't.
When y'all need somebody to come and help y'all out there, they don't bill. And I'm wondering, and I never dreamed this was this way. And I asked the question.
Yeah.
Because he said something about the billing. I was asking that number. I asked Darryl what that number was. That's how where this come from for me. Do we need to be charging him $108,000?
Yes, because it's going from one budget to another budget, so it's got to follow the paperwork.
Can he charge his man hours for that?
No, he's public service, neither can he. I mean, that's my opinion now.
Right.
They're providing security for the citizens and for them. I mean, can he refuse to come out there? It's a legal question.
You see where I'm
Yeah, but
see how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, they're out there 20 minutes.
They're both funded with Hampton County tax.
I understand, but you got to. I mean, I mean that's the best answer I can give you.
If you're getting the fire.
Can he bill? He can bill all he wants, man hours, I guess.
It seemed odd to me.
We'll just reduce it from his bill, I guess. You have to talk to really, you need to talk to Rick. I don't have the authority. I hear stuff all the time, and I'm sure you do too. But I think we have to keep up the trailers. If he wanted to bill that,